What's going on, guys? MK Tom Brady here. In this video, I want to cover the two most significant or game-changing patches, probably not just in NRS history, but probably Mortal Kombat history. Now, if you're familiar with the very beginning of the NRS era, we know it started with Mortal Kombat 9. And while if you're an MK11 player, you know, patches come here and there. Way back in the original days of NetherRealm Mortal Kombat, patches came early and often. I believe in the first 6 months of the game, between patches and hotfixes, you got something like 7 or 8 patches including hotfixes within the first 6 months of the game's life. That's a lot because right now we may go an entire year or more and not even get that many. So let's take a look inside the two biggest patches, the two biggest changes in probably Mortal Kombat history. So when Mortal Kombat 9 was released, it was not the armor fest that most of you know by the time the game ends. No, in fact, almost no characters had armor. Johnny Cage didn't have armor on his EX Shadow Kick, Jax didn't on his EX Dash Punch, etc. But early on in the game, as people were getting used to the new Mortal Kombat game, one of the first things people were doing were picking characters, wanting to stand far away, and zoning you. And early on in the game, people didn't really have their feet under them. Within the first few weeks, the complaining began. So, one of the first significant patches ever happened. Armor.
Johnny Cage.
And they handed it out in plenty.
Sub-Zero.
So, in general, and this would be a coming theme with the two new DLC characters, even more characters got armor. So originally, Johnny Cage's EX Shadow Kick didn't really have armor. It was considered to be an enhancement on his regular Shadow Kick. So the regular Shadow Kick hits high, only goes but so far, right? The EX Shadow Kick would go full screen and would hit mid. But it didn't have armor. So one of the ways to help characters like Johnny Cage get in on zoning was to give this move armor. So now it hits mid, goes full screen, and also has armor. Now let me tell you something about armor in this game. Armor in this game is not like the armor you may know. Armor in this game is considered super armor. In other words, moves have X amount of frames of armor. And during these frames of armor, they can absorb a million, bajillion, gazillion hits. It doesn't matter how many times you hit them. Nothing beats it except for an X-ray. And this is where enters Sonya Blade. So Sonya's original EX Cartwheel had armor, not on its startup frames, not on its ending frames, but in its middle frames. What that means is, in between the startup and end, it had armor right in the middle. So if she made a read on something, she could armor through it if she got the cartwheel out early enough. Well, what happens is they extended her armor to now last the entire duration of the move. So from startup to finish, this move can absorb infinite hits and cannot be beaten unless it's an X-ray. So now, this character pretty much, this move comes out, you lose. Point blank, period, end of story. And some of these moves were actually safe, like this. So here's a safe super armor launcher. It was devastating. Like I said, Jax's EX Dash Punch was given armor. A whole bunch of things were given armor. New characters that were added. Scarlet's EX Red Dash was given armor. It's a light speed dash, right? And it can go to a low, that's safe. An overhead, that's a launcher. Or another launcher that's not an overhead, but it allows her to quickly go right through zoning and punish with a launcher, or use it to get to attacks, not do an attack, come out of the dash, and then go into pressure. Kenshi, just about every EX move he has armor on it, and this caused, between like Scarlet and everything, with the way her zoning was and everything, caused more armor to be added to the game, like Sub-Zero's EX Slide was given armor, Reptile's EX Slide was given armor, etc. Armor was being handed out across most of the cast, but not all. So what happened? Well, people also began to get really, really, really good at MK9. So right now, you may look at MK9 and the dashing may look like this. Like, you cannot rapidly dash, right? There's this little hesitation in between, right? So you're trying to get in on somebody and we have this hesitation. Now, some of you may think, well, this is okay. This is no different than any other fighting game. And of course, you can dash block to get in. And you think, oh, this is pretty fast. Well, Mortal Kombat 9 originally had machine gun dashing. You could actually cancel a dash mid-dash with another dash. And pretty much you could dash in literally 2 or 3 times faster than you are dashing right now. So if you look at a character like Sector, for example, right? Let's look at his dash right now. Now, this is without being able to cancel a dash into another dash. This is still pretty fast, right? And dash blocking is even faster. But we look at this and we think, well, this is actually pretty fast, right? Without dash blocking, this is pretty fast. Believe it or not, this is over twice as slow. Characters could literally dash in at light speed. And the better the dash, the faster they got in. Johnny Cage and other characters, Sonya, became extremely oppressive. Not only did they have tons of armor to get in when they wanted to, but now players have really mastered like the game. Now they're using armor to stop you from zoning. And then when you're not zoning, they're dashing in at the speed of light. You can't back away fast enough. They're getting in quickly. And if you try to stop them from doing this, armor comes out, you get hit, knocked down, or launched, etc. So this Mortal Kombat 9's tier list did not resemble what it does today. Kabal number 1, no. Kenshi number 2, definitely not. You know, the game was completely played by a different, Kabal wasn't zoning you out. He was running for his life. Characters like Kenshi couldn't build enough meter to constantly keep you out. You were just getting in way too fast and putting in pressure. And the pressure characters were the ones building all the meter. So they built all the meter. They had all the bar for armor. And the zoning characters were running away for their life. And they just never were able to build the meter to really use their armor attacks. So what happened? Well, the final patch of Mortal Kombat 9 happened. And again, the tier list was shaken up again. We saw this in Devastation 2011, where Ryo goes on to win with Kabal, Mr. Molina gets second with Katana, and everyone realized the game was changed forever. And this is how it would stay. The dashing went from its machine gun, light speed dashing to the dashing we see today. So while obviously characters like Jax and Johnny Cage, etc., can get in still very, very quickly, they actually had to, slow down a little bit, right? So now they had to use dash blocking as a way to get in. But in doing so, they're not able to get in as fast. The machine gun dash was significantly faster. And then they had more of this speed of game, more dashing in and blocking. But this allowed zoning characters to really begin to kind of zone you out, build their meter, build their bar. Kabal, instead of running away for his life, was now zoning you, taking good damage, building good meter. Kenshi, the same thing, and hence began some of the uphill battles. Now, there certainly was ways for characters to get in, and the armor certainly did help with characters with that. But Mortal Kombat 9, I should say, didn't, undergo the slow patch process of MK11. Kind of, very early on in the game, people thought the game was one way, and then they realized it wasn't. So changes were made to try to balance these things out. This is why, if you ever go back and play older versions of Mortal Kombat 9, and you try to pull out Kabal, and you try to zone, so this is after his Block Infinite was removed, of course, and you're trying to zone somebody out, they're getting in on you, they're pressuring you, you're going to find out, well, my meter building isn't as good. Really, characters like Kung Lao and Johnny Cage and, even Jax were considered to be better characters. Jax was winning almost everything at this time, right? Jax was winning major after major after major. And then this change happened, and, you know, not that Jax didn't win anymore, but we saw a bigger rise in zoning characters. Cabal was winning, Kenshi was winning, etc. So, in general, these were probably the two biggest patch changes in definitely NRS history because they reshaped the game twice. I mean, the tier list was so drastically altered. Not like Mortal Kombat 11 altering where you add a DLC character there, the new number one, like in the sense of Tanya, pre-patch Alien, etc. But this literally shook up the existing roster. Characters that were number one were no longer number one, you know, and it just, you know, it shifted everything down. It shifted the balance from the originally, when the day the game came out, people thought the zoning characters had the advantage. Then the rushdown characters gained huge advantage, and then the zoning characters gained a little bit of advantage again. So it really kind of went back and forth with characters that were going up and down and up and down in the game. So to me, these were definitely the two most polarizing patches, to me, in possibly Mortal Kombat history, but definitely NRS history. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more content coming at you soon. I'm going to do a ton of more Mortal Kombat 11 videos. I don't know how much Mortal Kombat 9 I'm actually going to do, but every once in a while, I like throwing in some of these retro videos. I may go do some older games as well, like MKDC, etc. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see as far as some throwback editions, and I will check those out and see if I can make it happen. Thanks for watching, everybody. You guys take care. Stay safe. Strange times we're living in today. Safety first, obviously. Let's all be safe and make it back here in the end, and I will see you guys for the next video.